Okay, so that's coordinated colors. Now let's take a look at Microsoft Word. I'm going to close this. Let's just close all this stuff here. All right, so going into Microsoft Word, let's take a look back at that theme. I just want to check it out. I'm going to click once on the Design tab. I'm going to go to the document formatting group, and I'm going to click on the themes button. All right, so these are all the themes that we have. Now, if you remember, a theme is a set of coordinated colors, fonts, and effects. All right, so we're back in Microsoft Word. All right, so if you remember, a theme is a set of coordinated colors. All right, by coordinated colors, we mean either complementary colors, analogous colors, triadic colors. And let me just show you here. If I go up to the Home tab and click once on the Home tab, I'm going to go over to the, let's just go to the font group. And here I have my font color. If I click this drop down arrow right here, okay, drop down arrow, and you look here, I have a color palette here. I have a color palette. Now, the first section of my color palette says theme colors. All right. And these down here are standard colors. We're more so looking at this theme colors here. Now, this theme colors is exactly what the definition says. It's a set of coordinated colors. Now, each theme has its own set of coordinated colors. So let's take, for example, we are currently in the office theme, if you remember. All right, let's just double check. I'm going to click the Design tab. I'm going to go to the Themes drop down, and I see Office is selected. So we are currently in the Office theme. All right, now when I go back to the Home tab, I want you to take a look at this. I'm in the font group. I'm going to go to click on this drop down arrow. And if you want to, you can also do this too. Just pause the video and you can do this. I'm going to click on this font color drop down arrow, and I'm going to go to my theme colors and look at the set of coordinated colors. So let's take, for example, this last one here. Okay, here we see that this is an analogous color of greens. This is a family of greens here. All right, now next to it also are either complementary or triadic colors too. So if you go all the way across, these colors will complement each other. So if we look at the color wheel, blue is a complement to orange and yellow. All right. Green is, I believe, either a complement or triadic to orange. All right. My point is these colors all, they can go together very easily. And Word does that for you. Okay. Now, let's take another look again. Here we have this green line. I want you to notice this green line. All right, notice this green family over here. Okay, now I'm going to go over and up to the Design tab. I'm going to go to the Themes drop down button, and I'm going to click on a different theme here. Let's click on organic. All right, now if you notice, a lot of things just changed. All right, now if I go to the Home tab now and I go to the font group and I rest my mouse on this drop down font color arrow, this drop down button, I'm going to click. All right, and if you notice, that green is changed now to something different. It changed to, I believe that's gold. Okay, and as a matter of fact, the whole color palette changed. All right, the whole color palette changed. So every time I change my theme, this set of coordinated colors also changes. So each theme has its own set of coordinated colors. Make note of that because I'm probably going to ask you that question. All right, so for example, if I come back and change the color, change the theme to wood type. Let's just do that. I'm going to come up to the Home tab. I'm going to go over to the font group. I'm going to click the drop down arrow. And now our set of coordinated colors changed again. So that's one of the reasons why I use themes 20 to 40% of the time, just to get different complementary analogous colors. And Word does this so wonderfully. Before I started using Word, I would have to use the color wheel. I would have to figure this out from scratch. What's complementary? What's analogous? With Word, you don't even need to know that because they put it all together for you. Complementary, analogous, and triadic colors right there for you. And it almost doesn't even matter which ones you choose because they go together so well. They have been distinctly chosen to go together as a part of that theme. One of the ways that I really learned actually these complementary color schemes and analogous colors and triadic colors was through Microsoft Word because of this color palette. All right, so instead of making my own color, if I go here, I can make my own color. So if I click here, I can make my own color, but that's very difficult. You really have to be an artist or have an eye for colors like that. All right, but if you're like me and you don't really have an eye for colors like that, and you don't really know colors, then this right here is perfect. You don't have to create your own. All right, you can just use this up here. So that's number one reason, well, one of the reasons. Let me just say one, not number one reason, but one of the reasons why you want to switch your themes around. All right, and the reason is because you get these really beautiful colors in each theme that you can really enhance your document with. All right, so let's move on. So a theme, a set of coordinated colors, and also a set of coordinated fonts. All right, so if I go back up here to the Home tab, go to the font group, and I'm going to come up here and click the font drop down arrow. And if you look here, we have a section called Theme Fonts. We also have a section called Recently Used Fonts. And we also have a section called All Fonts. So we can find all the fonts down here. But up here, these are our theme fonts. These are the fonts that have been chosen and picked to go together, because fonts can be coordinated with one another. All right, so that's another thing. It's not just colors. Colors are not the only things that you see coordinated when you're looking at some advertisement or some marketing or some or resumes or books or contracts. They always use coordinated fonts. I used to work for a law firm where I downloaded fonts from a site that I used to use that provided complementary fonts. So let's take a look. Maybe that site is still up. It's called FontPair. 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 Here's this the one. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh wow, they made it to the top of the top of the search. When I was using them, they weren't at the top of the search. I had to find them. Yeah, but if we go back here, we see they're at the top today. Okay, they came a long way. All right, so FontPair. Um, Here are the different types of fonts: sans serif, serif, slab, monospace. Uh, the fonts are generally categorized as serif or sans serif. These are the stuff. I mean, if you're really getting to the studying of fonts, then you would acknowledge it. But there are some people that really love fonts. You know, they can really create fonts. There's a whole community out there about creating fonts for humanity. All right. But if we look here, oh, here we are. This is perfect. we can see here, for example, according to them, they're saying that this font pairs as a title with this font. All right, these are two different types of fonts. Okay, so let's go down, and here we have view more free font pairings. Come down here, all right, and then we have a bunch of different fonts that we can select. So this font is a title, and this font is used for the body. So here we have the title, and here we have the body. Here we have the title, and here we have the body. This font called Ultra is used for the title, and this font called PT Serif is used for the body of the text. Okay, one last one here. This font called Oswald is used for the title, and here is the complementary font called Source Sans Pro. And if you want to install that font, you can just click on here and it'll download onto your computer, and then you just install it. Very simple to do, but outside the scope of what we're doing right now. So my point is that there's a big community around font pairing and complementary fonts. It's a big in marketing and advertisement. If you're doing any type of banners or flyers, if you're making, I don't know, an invitation to a wedding, you want to take a little bit of consideration into the fonts that you are using and who's going to be reading. All right, so when you pair different fonts together, then it kind of makes the eye want to read. It kind of helps the eye to focus more. All right, and that's what we have here. When we change the theme, we have different font pairs. This font is used for titles and headings. This font is used for the body of the document. If I go ahead and go to the Design tab and go over to the Themes drop down and change the theme to something different, I'll change it to Iron Board. Now I'm going to go back to Home, and I'm going to go to the font group. I'm going to click on the drop down arrow, and here we have complementary fonts. Now it just so happens that these complementary fonts are the same. Century Gothic is used for titles, and the same font, Century Gothic, is also used for the body. All right, so that's why the themes are very important. They give you extra options in designing your document. All right, so also coordinated effects. Let's look at those effects. If I come up here to the styles panel, let me hit the more drop down arrow right here. Gonna hit that. You see we have a certain level of colors here and effects that we can apply, the intense quote. If I go to the Design tab, go to the themes and change my theme, let's change it to Banded. Notice my whole panel changes here, but also in the Home tab, my heading colors change. All right, so very effective. Choosing a theme is very effective for getting different colors and fonts and getting some diversity, yet some good looking diversity into your document. So before we leave, let's go ahead and just take a look here at this document that I have here. All right, and we're going to do a deep dive into this document in the next and last video.